You know, I knew what I was getting into when I fired up this game. The title is Labyronia Elements, the dev is Labyrinthine, and it's part of a bundle on Steam called The World of Labyrinths. So yeah, I knew full well what I was getting into. Mazes. I just didn't imagine they would be so prevalent. That's not a knock on the game, but more of a neutral observation. It claims to have 50 to 90 hours of gameplay time, but I feel that is probably due to the mazes padding that considerably. And honestly, it wouldn't be so bad if it weren't a good 90% of all the maps. If it was limited to the dungeons, then I'd be all for it. But it's world maps too. It gets grating and slightly frustrating when you have to traverse a map several times due to backtracking. I can't get really too upset though, because it's kind of the game's and the dev's hook. Mazes. It was pretty obvious they were going to be a major part of the game, so I can look past that. What I cannot look past are the far more questionable design choices that bring down what I feel could be an otherwise amazing game. Take the magic and skill systems. They are amazing! To learn new abilities, you have to steal them from your enemies by using a certain skill as a death blow. Every character can do this, and there's no limit to what you can learn. The downside? The death blow attack that you use to learn an enemy ability only does a static 50 damage. And there is, as far as I can tell, I haven't finished the game yet, no way to increase this amount. In that same vein, more skills and passive abilities can be learned by wearing gear. But if you don't wear the gear until you fully learn the ability, it won't become permanent, and sometimes you'll find weaker gear that will enable you to learn a buff that is just too good to pass up. You end up spending a decent chunk of time underpowered for the sake of learning a better skill. Mute the video if you don't want to hear the next part. It's kind of a major spoiler. Are you ready, kids? Who can learn abilities but can't take them with him? The Chosen Dark One! One major downside is that you can only experience each boss ability once, and only one person can learn it, if you manage to kill them with the death blow. One boss had a 320 HP regen ability that you can't dispel. That happened at the end of every turn. So that was a fun fight to try and learn the ability, let me tell ya. You start off the game as the Dark One in the spirit world, and when you go to a new world, you adopt a form that the inhabitants won't question or be afraid of. And your skills and abilities don't transfer between worlds. So, if you learn the ultimate boss ability on your disguised Dark One, kiss it goodbye forever after that world is through. It's punishing. I call bullshit on it. Granted, other party members all join you later on in the game on different worlds, but your Dark One will never have those abilities that you teach him, other than the ones learned on his home world. It makes playing him pointless, and it was a real gut punch when I learned that this happened. Honestly, what kept me playing was the story. It's well crafted, intriguing, and well worth the frustration, at least in my opinion, of dealing with all the game's shortcomings. By the end of the Fire World, the characters we were playing as had devolved into bickering children, but it was kind of hilarious. Look, I'm a sucker for a good tale, and this game has one. I just wish that the backtracking and skill learning weren't so stunted, to make it more enjoyable instead of a frustrating chore half the time. And don't get me started on infinitely looping maps with no real sense of direction. The good? Excellent story that is full of mystery, intrigue, and even some high school drama moments that are surprisingly entertaining for how cringy they could potentially be. Lots of custom, non-standard art, battlers, and tiles, so the game looks unique and stands apart from other RPG Maker titles. Clever puzzles that require a bit of thinking or in-game research to overcome. Excellent skill and magic learning system with a big but. The neutral. Mazes. So many goddamn mazes. Mazes on top of mazes. Still, it's a game about labyrinths, so what are you gonna do? The but of the skill and magic system. You may be forced to run around undergeared for a while, and the death blow can be very tricky, if not impossible, to pull off with certain high health bosses or enemies. The bad. Some large maps with infinite looping. I was literally running around for about 30 minutes looking for something in a certain map on the spirit world. I found it by chance, and then I couldn't find the exit. For this point, see my spoiler for this one. It is a major flaw in my opinion. The mazes feel like less a design choice and more to just pad out game time. Too much backtracking between different areas, and the player being mostly forced to travel through mazes makes it a slog instead of fun. Not much direction of where to go to advance the plot of the story. Backtracking, inspecting things multiple times, etc. It all feels more like padding the playtime instead of intuitive exploration and advancement. My verdict? Excellent stories, puzzles, and gameplay are bogged down by questionable game design choices. When the game does something good, it excels in it. When it does something bad, it really does it bad. I am gonna recommend this game, but it's on the cusp. There's a lot of good in this game. I mean, you fight a freaking sun. You literally attack the sun. I finally get to kill you, you son of a bitch. Not gonna lie, that's what made me recommend this. But the lows, you will get frustrated, you will get angry, and you will call bullshit. But there's a decent game here waiting to be played, if you can find your way through the maze of bad design. I'm HawkZombie. Thanks for listening. There we have it, folks. Another review in the bag. Hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, subscribe, follow me on Twitch. If you really liked it, then throw me a sub on Twitch or join up to my Patreon account. Links are below.